What's up, deckheads? Welcome to MTG with me. It's the Gather. Today I'm going to be opening up some booster packs. Just started the March of the Machine. This is a pretty cool set. A couple differences you should know. When you go to buy booster boxes, they're gonna ask you if you want draft or set. The rule of thumb is unless you're drafting, don't buy draft boxes or draft packs, or using any kind of an event, like a sealed event, something like that, you would want to use draft. Other than that, you want to buy the set booster boxes. So I'll go ahead and open that up in just a little bit. To the right of the screen, you'll see mythicspoiler.com. This is the website I like to use. A lot of people use different sites to kind of go through. The reason why I like their website is because everything's color coded and they put all the good stuff up at the top. There's always going to be some good commons and uncommons, but you'll see that as you scroll down. So what I'm going to do is whenever I open up something that is, I think, decent or any mythic rare, I'll go ahead and pull it up on Mythic Spoiler, just so if there's any trouble seeing it visually through the webcam I have, you'll get a better look at it on Mythic Spoiler. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Had an event the other day. My local shop, Curio Cavern, great store, great owner. Had a lot of fun, and there's a lot of playability. Some sets are kind of weird when you want to draft them. Uh, this one was pretty good all around. I do believe these actually have a little bit less than they used to. I think it used to be 32 packs. I haven't bought a box in a while, and these I believe should be 30. So let's take a look. Cool. Got some nice art in there. And looking through the packs. And there are 10 in each column here, so that's 30 packs total. I'm going to set this to the side and open them up. Oh, that's awesome. This is actually the card that I'm hoping to put in if you watch my Magic the Gathering Online Arena deck. This is the first card that I've been looking at on Mythic Spoiler that I saw immediately. This is the card that I want to put in my deck. So basically what this does is a 2-drop battle. It's a new kind of card that they put out in the set. Uh, think of it kind of like a Planeswalker, but not really. More so of an enchantment. What you'll do is I'll play this. I'll select an opponent. So if I've got multiple opponents, maybe I'm playing Commander, I'll pick one of them, and they will be the protector of this battle. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. All right. So basically, what this is going to do is when it enters the battlefield, I get to look at my opponent's hand. So there have been some cards, there are really not that many in white's color for this kind of mechanic. So one that's pretty good in itself. Get to look at my opponent's hand and then pick a card that's non-land, and that'll cost 2 more. Let me make sure. Exile a non-land card from it, and then as long as it remains exiled, so they could get rid of this. That effect still applies to the card, which is great. A lot of the decks that are out there right now are pretty early game. I want to say by turn 4, you pretty much know who's winning the game on Magic the Gathering Arena as it stands. My deck is Naya Humans that I've been using, and so that's where this next thing comes in. I use a lot of +1/+1 counters, and this card is beautiful for that. So at the beginning of the end step, anything that I attack with will get a +1/+1 counter. And then I could sacrifice it if I need to. Creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, which is also great. I can't remember the name of it, but there's this fox samurai that kind of does the same thing, which is really good. I use Sarah Paragon to kind of pull stuff from my graveyard back out onto the battlefield, which will be good. And I'm pretty sure I could do that with Sarah Paragon with these battles. So also something to note. All around great card. This is probably the one card that I wanted in this set. So first pack, that's pretty cool. All right, moving on. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, double rare in this pack here. Kin Tree Spirit. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, bolster 1. Pretty good. And a mythic rare. Rashmi and Ragavan. Whenever you cast your first spell during each of your turns, exile the top card of target opponent's library and create a treasure token. Then you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it's a spell with mana value less than the number of artifacts you control. If you don't cast it this way, you may if you don't cast it this way, you may cast it this turn. Okay, interesting. A lot of playability there. Probably use that in a commander deck. I don't really play a lot of commander. As far as the lower level stuff, Invasion of Kaladesh creates Thopters. That's kind of cool. Very, very cool stuff. All right. Yeah, one pack. I was told that these new sets that they do have a good amount of value in each card. So I'm certainly seeing that now. All right, moving on. Next pack. Let's see what we got. I'm already excited with that first pull. Oh wow! So I was also told that you'll get that there's a list that they put online somewhere that tells you cards from previous sets that they think apply to the set that is released that will also be in there. You'll notice this is actually a card from the first set that I played uh, in Magic, which was Scars of Mirrodin. So Kemba's Legion here, 4/6 Vigilance, 7-drop. Not a lot of playability here. Can block an additional creature for each equipment attached to it. So that's kind of cool. Plenty of other cards that are better than that. But still, very cool. Tribute to the World Tree. 3 green. That's tough to play. A lot of mono green decks out there, though, so should be able to use that if they want. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. It's a power 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Alright, well, that's pretty cool. Wow. Fire Song and Sunspeaker. This I did see a lot of playability from. Gives you red instant and sorcery spells lifelink, so really good for a Boros themed deck. Haven't seen a lot of those though. Maybe that'll come back. Whenever a white instant or sorcery spell causes you to gain life, Fire Song and Sunspeaker deals 3 damage to target creature or player. So that's kind of interesting. So if I deal 3 instant damage to you, whenever I'll gain the 3 life. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Actually, that's kind of neat. So you get lifelink from your red spells, and you'll deal damage from your lifelink spells. That's kind of cool. I like that. Cool. Let's see. Rashimi and Ragavan. So let me pull that up just so people can look at that. That one's probably hard to look at through the camera. Not even sure if that's going to be in this list, but take a look. Not seeing it. I actually got a lot of those in the event. The Zerda, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of play. I mean, I've never got to use the companions, but it'd be pretty cool. Let's see. See if I can pull it up this way. Alright, so it looks like some of these cards from other sets aren't necessarily on here, but it's got the bulk of everything. So we'll pull up what we can. Oh, no, there it is. I got it right here. That way y'all can take a look at that. Let's see. Might be able to squeeze in one more there. Yeah, I really like the balance of the set. There's a bunch of stuff out there. The full face lands too. Big fan. Big fan. Alright, let's see. Endoskeleton uncommon. Pretty old stuff here. It's a very light foil. Loaded processor. I got this in the draft the other day, but I did not end up playing it. I normally stick to American or Nyan. Those are typically the ones that I'll go for when I build. Can I move that here? Let's see. It's a 3/2 for 3. Whenever it dies, incubate X, where X is its power. And whenever you sacrifice another for Rex, and you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's got something in there. Not a whole lot. Oh, this card I was actually hoping to use in this set, but I didn't get to. Full face plays, right on. Invasion of Xerix. 4-drop with 4 battle. Enters battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. The reason I didn't play it, even though it looks like it's a good uncommon, I actually probably would make it a common, because that 4-drop, it's not at instant speed. You can only play this on main phase 1 or main phase 2 as a sorcery speed. So that's not ideal. The other side, though, does seem valuable. It's flying, power and toughness equal to the number of creatures you control. So you do need to maintain a board state. So in draft, where most everybody is playing creatures, ideally you'll have 17 things and 23 lands. So that way you're drawing into your lands at the rate that you generally need. So most of the time, those are going to be all 17 creatures. Maybe you'll spice it up with 2 to 3 other things, but that way you're maintaining a board state. Then when you're building your deck, you really just need to monitor your curve, and then obviously play around the colors that you get. A lot of times, like me, I want to play an American. I want to play Nyan, and so that doesn't necessarily work out sometimes. So got to play with what you got. But that's why this card didn't end up playing. All right. That's pretty cool. A lot of the cards in this set have the Phyrexian mana and transform abilities. So a lot of cool stuff. Magic certainly is not shy of abilities. Moving on. Teferi's Veil. It's a nice old card. That artwork. Whenever any creature you control attacks, it phases out at end of combat. Interesting. That's not necessarily good, though. When things phase out, they're treated as if they don't exist, but anything attached to them is still attached to them. So it's not like you're blinking it, where you exile it and bring it back. It's treated as one thing, but it's not there. So not really good for board state. A lot of cards you can untap stuff, make it a blocker, a lot of combat tricks you wouldn't be able to do with that. Alright, Phyrexian Censor got a cool foil here. Uncommon. Each player can't cast more than one non-Phyrexian spell each turn. And non-Phyrexian creatures enter the battlefield tapped. 3/3 for 3. That definitely would be playable in the set. A lot of people are playing Boros colors, red-white. So I'm noticing a lot of knights. Not so many Phyrexian creatures being used. Of course, there are some. The new Pulachronos is pretty cool, but that's pretty cool. Oh, nice. This is another card that I was looking at. I was jokingly thinking I could put in my humans. Ancient Imperiosaur. This is Convoke. Convoke's cool because what Convoke does is it allows you to tap creatures to pay for the mana cost. So even though that's 7-drop, it doesn't have to be. If I'm cheating things out onto the board and increasing my board state, that becomes easier and easier to play. So mainly looking at that as the difficulty of being able to pay for 2 green. It's got Trample, Ward 2. It's a 6/6 for 7 naturally. Whenever it enters the battle, when it enters the battlefield, it enters with 2 +1/+1 counters for each creature that convoked it. So if you can find some way to give this flash and convoke stuff right before it's your turn, even better. If you got some way to give it haste too, that would be great. That's a lot to work with all at once in a response. So I'm actually going to pull that up. Should be towards the top. I'm going to go to green. This is the alternate art that you'll see there. A lot of cool stuff. Another reason this site is amazing. No, they did not pay me to say that. I just really enjoy the site. All right, let's see. Green. This one is rare, so I'm going towards the top. Where's the at? You'll see we already got that earlier. Tribute to the World Tree. This guy right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row. That one's pretty good. Daxos, Blessed by the Sun, 2-drop. Toughness equal to your devotion to white. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, gain 1 life. A little playability there. Lathal, the Bounteous Dawn. Actually got one of these as well. This is a cool card. At the beginning, it's got lifelink 2/2. Great, so it helps itself. Now it's a 4-drop for a 2/2, so that kind of stinks. But the playability, you really just have to keep it alive for a little bit for it to get out of that 2/2. A lot of things can remove it range. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, distribute up to that many +1/+1 counters among any number of other target creatures. So I take that back. It actually can't help itself, but it can help a lot of other things. So that's pretty cool. You got a life gain deck, maybe make this a commander. That way you can keep pulling it out even if people are targeting it. Um, Obviously with the additional commander cost, but still a great card all around. Let's see. This is a cool card I was thinking about putting in my deck as well. It's uncommon. 2/2 for 2 vigilance. It is specific mana, red and white. It's a mountain and a plains. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a backup ability, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. So if you're making a backup deck, that's kind of cool. 2/2 vigilance, pretty neat. Another plains, right on. Cool. All right, so there's 2 of the cards that I definitely wanted right there on the left-hand side. Invasion of Gobokon and Ancient Imperiosaur. Very good. Awesome. Moving along. Oh, look at that. That's some cool artwork right there. What? Look at that. Warrior token, that's cool. Very light foil. Attentive Skywarden. Flying whenever Attentive Skywarden deals combat damage to a player or battle. Transform up to 1 target incubator token you control. That's pretty neat. I mean, 2/2 for 3. You've only got 1 specific mana in that CMC. That's not a bad common. I mean, honestly, flyers are generally always good. Ooh, we got Rona here. Let's see. Yargle and Multani. This is an 18/6 6-drop? What is that? That's so dumb. Oh, let me pull that up. You know somebody's gonna play it because it's that ridiculous. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see where I find that guy. Towards the bottom. How did I miss that? Yargle. An 18/6. Why? A lot of specific mana though. Yeah, 2 swamps, forest, and 3 of anything else. But it's an 18/6. I don't know. Maybe if they bring back Fling, that'll be a force there. Other than that, it's just flavor text. It's just flavor text. That's all it says. I don't even know how to pronounce that last part. I'll go ahead and let you read that off the screen. That's that's pretty weird. Okay, all right. Let's see. We got Terror of Tawashi. 4/3, 4-drop Death Touch. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 4. That's Swamp and 3 other. When you do return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, it's a Phyrexian in addition to its other types. Pretty neat. I'll go ahead and throw that up just because that's a lot to read off the card. Again, we're going rare, so I'm going to scroll up. Let's see. What do we got? Terror. Is that this set? Let's see. Phyrexian Org. 4-drop Terror. Let's see. Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding that one. I guess it doesn't have all of them. I thought it had every single one. Perhaps they missed that one. I'll scroll through just one more time real quick so you can see. There's the loaded processor that we got earlier. Let's see, terror. Alright, not finding it. Wow. Okay. Maybe maybe they missed that one. I don't know. Let me see if I can make this a little bit clearer. Have not seen them do that. Good stuff. Moving along. This one was pretty good in draft, or sealed event, I should say. It's got Convoke. It's 4/4. Now it is 7-drop, so I still wouldn't put too many of them in there. But it's a 4/4 flying haste, so that mid to late game in your sealed events, this could help you close it out. A lot of times in those events, you get a really heavy board state, so a lot of times it's kind of a standoff, so you need to find unique ways to get through. If you can give a creature protection, if you can make it unblockable, anything like that is really what you want to focus on. This is cool. Loving it. A lot of great artwork. I love that they're throwing in cards from previous sets that have some playability. Well, not even playability. And by the way, as I was told, you are allowed to use the extra cards. Now, this is a set box, but in those draft packs, there's other cards that you can use off the list set that are approved for those events, and that makes it a little bit more interesting. Let's see. There's that guy we just got. 18-6. Temporal Cleansing. Look at that artwork. That is a beaut. Oh, we got our Abrask. Oh, I'll have to pull that up. That looks amazing. This is Convoke, 4-drop. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it into their library second from the top or on the bottom. So this is time walking. Whenever you put something back on the top of their deck, that is one of the most annoying things you'll have to deal with when you're playing Magic. If somebody keeps putting something to the top of your deck, like Azuri is charming it, that is lame. Because you know what you're drawing next turn, and a lot of times you're, hoping for a card that you need, and if you know it's not what you need, it makes it very frustrating to play. So, let's see. Temporal Cleansing, that's cool. I like that foil, really do. We got Hurabrask. Ooh, alternate art. This is, I think this is the new one. Yeah, this is the new one. Let's go ahead and pull that up. How cool is that?
Whoa, very nice. Look at that.
4-drop, first strike, 4/4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, deals 1 damage to target opponent, and add a mountain. For 1 mountain, you can exile it, return it to the battlefield, transformed under its owner's control, activate only as a sorcery, and if you've cast 3 or more instant and sorcery spells this turn. So, probably could use for a mono red aggro. Red deck wins pretty good strategy. Usually find it in every set. Let's see. The great work as the saga enters, and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Great work deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. That's pretty cool. Second step, create 3 treasure tokens. And then the last one, until end of turn, you may cast instant sorcery spells from any graveyard, not just yours, any graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. Exile it and then return it to the battlefield, transformed again. So these are pretty cool. The Praetors this time around, they have this kind of mechanic. They've got board state presence, and then they're just a lot going on with them. Very resilient. Um, you'll see lots to do. I like that it exiles stuff from your opponent's graveyard, or you could choose your opponent to do that too, and use it against them. That, to me, I think, pretty strong there. Wow, a lot of great stuff. Let's see, uncommon Cascade, old mechanic there. Really like that. Take him, Widgetai Master, I think is how you say that. 4-drop instant sorcery and dragon spells you control can't be countered. All right. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, if it attacked this turn, the spell gains rebound, which is exile the spell as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast that card from exile without paying its mana cost. I've seen a few rebound stuff. Like I said, I started at Scars of Mirrodin, so I haven't seen too much of that. That was an older mechanic, but I heard good things. Very tribal though. Never really played dragon decks since I started. I didn't even really have a dragon deck. I liked the angels, the dragons, all those cool artworks. Pretty much everybody does that as well. Let's see. We already talked about this one. 3-drop, 3/3. That one looked pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, that was really cool. Temporal Cleansing. Very nice. This is the placeholder card you can use in events. Pretty neat. Let's see. Rona here. City on Fire. Wow, this is also another one that I pulled in the set. This, I actually ran into, and I'll just explain that. I ran into an interesting uh, scenario in the event that I had. So I had City on Fire. It's Convoke, 8-drop. So it does seem pretty spicy to play. Uh, if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage instead. So, interesting enough, I had the 1/1 Dog Warrior that transforms into a 4/3 trample. Uh, when I swing with it, when I swung with it, I was unsure necessarily right away. We did confirm though that the damage triples afterwards, state-based effect, I believe. So when he teamed block against my 4/3, I had to assign the 2 and the 2, which would then be 6 damage and 6 damage, or I could have done 3 and 1, which would have been 9 and 3. But I had to split it up that way, so I couldn't assign anything over it to the player. Now, if it had Death Touch and Trample, that's an interesting scenario. It didn't, but that's an interesting scenario where I could just assign 1 damage to each blocker. The rest go to the player. Not a lot of people know that little bit, and that is a huge difference. That would have then been, what was it? I could have assigned 1/1/2 over, so then I could have done 6 damage to my opponent, killed the blockers, and just done a lot of work with that. As it stood, though, it just tripled that. Now, just tripled, I know. That's still a statement in itself. This combined with the board wipe, I forget which one it is. Let me pull it up for you. But there's a board wipe battle that does 3 to everything. And when it flips, it has ward 2, or ward, they have to pay 2 life. And anytime you cast a spell, which also includes creature spells, it deals 2 damage to somebody else. So if you had this out and that, it's dealing 6 damage every time you cast a spell. So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that coming up with mono red, but let's see. Alright, so this City on Fire. The source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player. Deals triple that damage instead. So you have to have dealt the damage. It's not like when I swung with that 4/3 that it was 12/3 coming in hot. That's not how it works. And here's the 4-drop. 3 damage to each creature. And there is the elemental that it turns into. Pretty nuts all around. I was doing that a lot. Got pretty light, just waiting for that board state to fill up as it normally did. In a lot of those events, that's something that you just have to expect. If you do get board wipes and you pull those, you got to use those sparingly. But yeah, cool stuff. Great card all around. All right, what else we got? Zephyr Winder, 2/1 flying, deals damage. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap up to 1 target creature. That's kind of cool for a common. The battles do make it pretty interesting because as your opponent, you now have to wonder, is it worth it to block the battle, knowing that that's going to be another board state item that you're going to have to deal with, or even as the attacker, I know what that's going to turn into, but should I just keep swinging at my opponent or their planeswalker? So definitely a lot of cool board state mechanics. People are really having to think about what they're doing each turn. This is a common I thought was pretty sweet. Angelic Intervention. Target creature or planeswalker you control gains protection from colorless or from the color of your choice until end of turn. If it's a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's awesome. Whenever you think protection, you want to think debt. DEBT, can't be dealt damage, can't be enchanted, can't be blocked, can't be targeted. And I believe that's basically said in the parentheses at the bottom here. Good stuff. Wow, a lot of cool stuff, man. I'm excited. We're just now cracking into this. Ooh, okay. Wildwood Escort, foil here. Love the artwork. Let's see what it does. 5-drop for 3/3. Already, that's pretty bad out the gate. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature or battle card from your graveyard to your hand. If it would die, exile instead. Alright, so I mean, that's cool. We get some resilience out of that. Pull from the graveyard. But 5 for 3/3 does not pass the vanilla test, and those abilities are not that great, so it's not really helping it that much. Oh man, I don't even know how to say that. Hidsugu and Kari. I don't know. 5/4 for 5, 2 island and a swamp. With 2 of anything else, it's 5/4 flying. Enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. When it dies, exile the top card of your library. Target opponent loses life equal to its mana value. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. That might get some play. That's like maybe throw it in there. I don't think you would use that in a draft. You might, if that's the only good card you pulled, or only good rare that you could use. Rune Eyes. Scry 3 for 4, 3/3. When it dies, draw 3 cards. If 3 or more creatures died this turn, that's pretty hard to do. I also like that a lot of the Phyrexian mana that they have, you'll notice in these last two cards right here, is of a different mana source. So it's kind of encouraging you to play with multiple mana types, which is pretty neat. Cool. Nice. Foil. The foils are pretty clean on these. Like they're not very loud, I'll say. Uh, they're I want to say slightly noticeable, but I mean it's still kind of cool. What we got here? Sunfall, 5-drop. Exile all creatures. Incubate X, where X is the number of creatures exiled this way. So incubate is pretty cool. You'll throw a a token with 2+1/+1 counters on it for 2 colorless. You can transform it, and then you have a 2/2. But until you do that, it's not a creature. So if you wanted to kind of have some resilience with a board state, you could build those up. Hope that your opponent's not focusing too much on them for removal. I don't know why you would. It's just a 2/2. But in the event of a board wipe, you could spend your mana, transform those, and have some blockers. So kind of cool. Sunfall. Go ahead and put that up there so you can see. That's pretty neat. Oh, we got a talent. So the talents are really cool. Talents basically are kind of showcasing previous Planeswalker abilities as enchantment auras that you can enchant a Planeswalker. So that's kind of cool. Enchanted Planeswalker has -8. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. Whenever a creature deals damage to Enchanted Planeswalker, destroy that creature. That's disgusting. That's so good. Oh no. All right, let me pull that up. That's oh man. I feel like people are gonna play that. Talents, talents. Oh, talents. There we go. I'll let you all take a look at that. That is pretty nuts. Oh, here's another one I saw. Uh, Sunblessed Guardian. This one was kind of cool. It's got a expensive activated ability there. Again, activate only a sorcery. It's a 2-drop 2/2. Whenever it attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. For each +1/+1 counter on it on the first original one, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. That's kind of cool. I like that. Another planes. So this one I just passed by. Kithkin Billy Rider. Looks funny, but I mean, pretty much anything with double strikes got my attention. It's 3-drop, 1 specific planes, 2 anything else, 1/3 double strike. There's some equipment in the set. It's definitely not something to overlook. This did help me win a good amount of those games, so something to look at. Moving on, starting to fill up the screen here. So pretty soon I'll go ahead and just tally them up, or not tally them up, pile them up and move them off to the side. Got a foil here. Invasion of Belenon. It's an uncommon 3-drop. 2 colorless, 1 plants. Enters battlefield, create a 2/2 white and blue knight creature token with vigilance. The other side is just an anthem. Creatures get +1/+1. Still pretty good though. We got a mythic rare. Just taking a look here through the pack. Cool. Alright, so this is Thalia and Gitrog Monster. 4-drop. 1 plains, 1 swamp, 1 forest, and anything else. 4/4. First strike, death touch. Ooh. You may play additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Oh. That's pretty good. Whenever it attacks, sacrifice a creature or land, then draw a card. Okay, so it's good, but it hurts you to play it. So that's kind of balanced. Let me go ahead and just throw that up there for y'all. Thalia. Human frog horror. Assimilate essence. Nice cool foil work here. It's a common. Counter target creature spell or battle spell unless its controller pays 4. If they do incubate, that's kind of cool. Omnath. Oh, okay. Let's see what we got here. Alternate art. Omnath. It's Wooburg cost with Phyrexian mana for black. If you lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols in its mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana in any combination of its colors and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, put it into your hand. Okay, cool. 4/4. I never play Wooburg. If you don't know what Wooburg is, it's the first letter of the color that you're using. They use U for blue, and B is for black. So that's kind of where you get the Wooburg. The white, blue, black, red, green. So. Omna alternate art. Do they show that? You'd think they would. Not seeing it so far. There it is. So again, I had the alternate art. When I clicked on it, it goes to the original there, but you can see, you can't see. Let's see if I can do this. No. All right. Well, it's showing the different artwork, but I'll zoom it up. See if you can get a better look at that. Still pretty much the same artwork. Pretty cool. All right, moving along. Coming in hot. Oh man, really wanted to use this one. I'm a big fan of first strike and double strike, that kind of stuff. If you're unfamiliar with the terms, first strike is dealing damage first, and then your opponent deals damage, but you only deal your damage once. Double strike is first strike damage and regular combat damage. That's probably the best way to think about that. So really good combat trick. +1/+0 against first strike and scry 1 for 1. That is I don't think that should be common. That is a very good combat trick. I think that should be an uncommon. But moving on. Got a nice forest there. Looks nice. Let's see, can I fit another row? Probably not. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this back up. Of what I have right here, Invasion of Gobakhan, Ancient Imperiosaur, and Urabras. Those are the ones that I think are probably the best ones. Let me know which ones you liked. Which ones do you think are the best out of what you see right here, and tell me why. Um, the talents I think are going to be pretty neat. I think a lot of people are going to play those in Commander. And City on Fire, I think that's going to get a lot of playability in Standard. Just because I think there's going to be plenty of aggro decks out there that can use that. I mean, an aggro deck initially is going to flood the board state with a lot of 1-drop, 2-drops. They're going to get that out a lot quicker than you think. And it says whenever a source, if ever a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, deals triple that damage instead. So that includes your combat damage from all of your creatures on the board state. So I think you'll see a lot of that out there. And then, maybe mix that up, get a Boros deck, throw in Fire Song and Sunspeaker, really get some life gain, maybe get you into because those decks can't last mid to late game. So if you can keep the board state and wipe them out enough times, you'd be all right. But there really aren't that. I don't see a lot of board wipes out there. So we'll see. Cool. Good stuff. A lot of great stuff in each of these packs. I'm pretty excited with the value that I've seen so far, and we're just getting into it. Let's see. Open them up. Stasis Field foil. Oh, love it. Look at that. Enchant creature. You're basically frogging it, except it's a 0/2. So it has base power and toughness 0/2, defender, and loses all other abilities. Pretty funny when you do that to something that somebody is kind of trying to Voltron. So they get a useless Voltron. It'd be kind of cool. Ho! Alright. I don't play a lot of Dragon decks, but that's a nice card. Ooh. Look at that card. Whenever Invasion of Tarkir enters the battlefield, reveal any number of dragon cards from your hand. When you do, Invasion of Tarkir deals X plus 2 damage to any other target, where X is the number of cards revealed this way. So reveal dragons, is it 5 for a battle? I don't know if you can attack it right away with that damage. I think you can. Now, this doesn't have haste, but you could still get this out relatively early. I think it was a 2-drop. Yeah, it's a 2-drop, 1 mountain, colorless. Flip, 4/4 flying trample. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, it deals 2 damage to any target. So, a lot of playability with that one. Let's go ahead and pull that up. That's going to be towards the top for sure. Very good card. Now this is actually a neat little 1/3 for 2. Human rogue, creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. So that 1/3 double strike I was talking about, even though board state's going to be filled with a bunch of stuff and you're going to get to a lot of stalling from combat from both players in those kind of drafts and events, this is a nice little way to sneak in damage through that kind of an event. Pretty cool. This is one of those equipment cards. There's a 1-drop mountain as well that's kind of playable. That's got flash +2 +0. This one gives vigilance. Equip 1 and it costs 1. +1/+1 and vigilance. That's a nice equipment early game. That really does help a lot. Wow. Great stuff. Nice artwork going on. Another foil. Invasion of Asgol. When Invasion of Asgol enters the battlefield, target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, loses 1 life. It's got 4. It's a 2/1 menace. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And if a permanent was put into a graveyard from the battle this turn. That's kind of cool. Not a lot going on with it though. Dusk Legion Duelist. Vampire Soldier Vigilance. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, draw a card. Ability only triggers once each turn. That's kind of cool. I don't see that getting a lot of playability. And then we got Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. When it enters battlefield, mill 4. Tap. Choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast this card. You may cast that card this turn. That's pretty neat. A lot of cool stuff. Ravenous Sailback, saw that, or played against that in some uh, matches the other day, and that was pretty good. There are some artifacts and enchantments that people will use, so a little playability there, and giving it haste as a 3/4 is all right. Not the best though for an uncommon 5. I mean, it probably should be a 4-drop, but still pretty cool. Tandem Takedown was actually pretty neat. 3-drop, up to 2 target creatures you control. Each get +1/+0 until end of turn. And then here's the better part. They each deal damage to equal to their power to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. So, especially in those drafts when you're building up a board state, this gets you a lot of power for removal, even for mono green. So, Beamtown Beatstick for 1. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has menace. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. So, like Professional Facebreaker, one of the cards I use in my set. It's basically giving his abilities to it, and a +1/+0 1-drop, equip 2. That I feel like that should be an uncommon. That's nice. Moving on. Sliver card. Wow. I heard about these. People apparently had sliver decks back in the day that were pretty neat. This one gives all sliver creatures have poisonous 1. Whenever it deals damage to a player, that player gets a poison counter. Feel like that'd be useful in that kind of a deck. Oh, we got a Zerta. Oh, and we got the board wipe. Nice. This is the board wipe that I talked about earlier. I'll pull this back up for you. This is a really great board wipe. And then here's the other side talked about earlier. Ward is pay 2 life. So if anybody wants to try to target this that's not you, they got to pay 2 life just to do that. Whenever you cast a spell, Refraction Elemental deals 2 damage to each opponent. So let's say you've got something, what is it? Lauren's Escape, 1-drop planes, scry 1, give indestructible and hexproof. So even if somebody tries to remove it, they target it, right? So they take 2 damage. Give it hexproof, they take another 2 damage. Nothing happens to it. Indestructible 2, use it as a blocker. I feel like there's a lot of playability there. So this is definitely a board wipe that I'm going to be putting in my deck on MTGA. just to kind of help. Nice. That's a nice card. Zerda, the Dawn Waker. This is a really cool alternate art. I actually pulled 2 of this exact alternate art uh, in the set, or in my pre-release event yesterday. I like it. It's a 3/3 for 3. So just vanilla alone is cool. It's got companion. So if you did make a commander deck and every single card in it had um, an activated ability, I think you could have a companion and a commander, and that's kind of neat. The other ability it says is abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 colorless less, but I can't reduce it less than 1. So a lot of stuff that can happen with that. And then it's also got 1 tap, target creature can't block this turn, which is why it was useful in the pre-release for me, because I was able to get through a lot of defenses that way. Doesn't tap down your opponent creatures, but it does help you get some damage in there. Let me pull that up just so you can see it. Well, we're getting pretty far along on time there, about an hour in here, so I'm thinking I'll try to speed up the opening of the packs. Let's see. That might be, it's probably going to be an alternate art section. There it is. That's pretty cool. Nice. Nice. Okay. Cracking these packs open. Incubator token, that's cool. Oh, 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 nice. It's not a foil, but this is another card that is just ridiculous. That, I mean, sure, throw it in the set. Looks like they're reaching for new things, but it's Holly Primal Conqueror, legendary creature, elder dinosaur. Before I start reading it, I'll go ahead and just move it up on the screen. Alright, it's Holly. Alright, so if you go ahead and just take a look to the right side of the screen, you'll see why this is disgusting. So, it turns into an 11/11 for 10. Alright, so that's a lot. So it's a 7 drop to play. So 7 for a 7/7 trample. That's good in itself. When it enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. That's disgusting. So I may cast any number of spells, not my opponent. So I'm going to play something from theirs, play something from mine. Kind of like one of those, I can't remember, Jace Architect of Thought, I think. But he let you look through the entire deck, I believe. That, oh man. It's kind of a similar mechanic there. So then for 10, transform, activate only as a sorcery. It's an 11/11 trample indestructible. Whenever Italia Primal Sickness deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters. It only takes 10 to kill somebody with infect or poison counters. That's that's just, ooh, that's a good card. Nice. Goreclaw, Terror of Qual Sisma. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. When it attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 to trample until end of turn. I like it. Wow, this set booster box definitely worth it so far. I think. I've seen everybody in the shop that got one was pulling a lot of good stuff. So I think overall they're really dishing out the value. Good time to be playing Magic in person. I'm a free to play player online, but nothing beats tabletop Magic. So wow. Moving along, still plenty of packs. Like I said, I'll try to speed this up a little bit here. A Johnny's Last Stand. 4-drop. Whenever a creature or planeswalker you control dies, you may sacrifice a Johnny's Last Stand. If you do, create a 4/4 white avatar creature token with flying. When a spell or an ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, if you control planes, create a 4/4 white avatar creature token with flying. So, some resilience to discarding. That's kind of cool. Oh, we got the alternate art Juru and Hazaret. That's, oh, man. Okay, I'm going to have to pull this one out. I'm not upset. It's just, it's a lot of back and forth. Woo! Alright, let's see. Alternate art, Drew and Hazaret. I think it's Drew. Might be Drew. Maybe the D is silent. Drew. Alternate art just below the lands. No, that's not it. There it is. So, this one's the alternate art version. I think it's Amonkhet was the set that this style was popular for. So it is a 5/4. As long as you have one or fewer cards in hand, Juru and Hazaret has Vigilance and Haste. When it attacks, so not an ETB, whenever it attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may exile a legendary creature card from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, and until the end of the turn, I may cast the exiled card, without paying its mana cost. It's a 5-drop initially, so 2 mountain, 1 plains, and 2 of anything else. And that's disgusting. That's definitely playable. There's also that might be you might find an American themed God deck out there which probably utilizes that, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Invasion of Theros. It was the promo card that I pulled in the event yesterday, and the other side of it has it says when you play the invasion, you get to fetch a god, demigod, or an aura card. So lots of playability there. It is a 3-drop to play it. So if you're using Sarah Paragon, which you could use in that kind of a set, of course you'd have 2 red specific, 2 white specific with a splash of blue. Might be hard to work with, but you could fetch those out and get a lot of playability. Plus, if you're using a lot of those kinds of cards, most of them are legendary creature cards that you could pull. So, who knows? Maybe we'll see something like that. Oh, we got another talent. Oh my god, I'm so talented. Alright, this one's Rowan's talent. I think those were towards the bottom. Talent. I'm so talented. Alright, here we go. Rowan's talent. Enchant Planeswalker that has +1 up to 1 target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample until end of turn. Whenever you activate a loyalty ability of an enchanted planeswalker, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. That's pretty good. I mean, any ability of a planeswalker that you enchant this with, you're gonna copy. There's a lot of playability there. A lot of people that want to copy those things. Think about that with the Elspeth from New Capenna, just getting all the abilities out there. I mean, whew, that's good. All right. Oh, we got a full face mountain here. Love that. All right. For real, I'm gonna pull these packs faster. I promise. I'm trying. Let's see. Exile target creature card. Incubate 3. Foil there. That's a 6-drop. That's kind of cool. Fairy Mastermind. This is Flash. Flying 2/1. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. So that's kind of neat. It's got a 4-drop pumpable ability. Notice it doesn't have a tap next to it, so I could do that multiple times. Each player draws a card, and I'd have to be able to pay for it multiple times, of course. But so that's kind of neat, right? You would do that on their turn and draw 2 before you untap, upkeep, draw. So that's kind of neat. That probably is going to be some playability there. Ooh, this uncommon is definitely playable in the sealed events. At the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduk, remember there's a lot of those cheaper red and white equipments. Create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile the tokens at the beginning of the next end step. That's great though. You just need those for swinging in. They're gonna block them. If they're not blocking them, that's a quick way to end the game, or put them in a tight spot to really keep them on their toes. Keeper of the Flame. That one's good. This is that 1-drop I was talking about. It's a 1/2 that turns into a 4/3. Dog Warrior. As far as 1-drop goes, creatures, that's not a bad one to use. In the set, at least. Nice. Moving on. Oh, that's pretty neat. Yoran Sky Nomad foil companion. It's a 5-drop. Some people are familiar with this card. Now that foil is definitely prominent. Look at that. I think this is the Halo foil they were talking about. I'm not entirely sure. Woo! Look at that.
Look at that. That's nice and shiny.
Alright, it's got companion. Starting deck contains at least 20 cards. More than the minimum deck size. You can have this as your companion. Flying, when Yoran enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. I hated playing this. And I'm pretty sure if you look at some of the MTGA videos I have, you'll see me playing against this, and unhappily so. It's a very good card, though. I'm sure a lot of people love that card. I don't know if that shows on Mythic Spoiler, but let me see if I can find it just real quick. Alternate art section. Where we go? So it does have it, but it's that's can't remember what style that came out with. I think that was Ixalan that artwork style came out in. I prefer this style. Look at that. Woo! This is the original artwork too, I believe. Definitely solid card. Alright, Into the Fire. 2 colorless, 1 red. Into the Fire deals 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker, and battle. Put any number of cards from your hand onto the bottom of your library. Then draw that many cards +1. That's kind of cool. Let's see. We have Mastersmith. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, that creature gains double strike until end of turn. That's kind of neat. Wrath. Weatherlight Stalwart. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. If that was a soldier, that would probably be playable in the Azorius Soldier deck that you see a lot of times on MTGA. But because it's relying on a bunch of instant and sorcery spells to use its abilities, I don't think that that's something that you would use in a draft or anything like that. Wow, Surge of Salvation, 1-drop on common planes. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Prevent all damage that black and or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. That's kind of cool. Pretty specific though, that's probably why it's a common. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Elder Giant, Proxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. Pretty neat. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever Crocs enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. The escape cost is 2 mountains and 2 swamps. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. It's a 6/6. Normally it's a 2/2. So that's interesting. Chrome Host Seed Shark. Actually, let me see if I pull that up because it is mythic. That artwork, I believe, is down here. Titan. No, I'm not finding it. I don't think they have that one on here. But I do remember seeing that card a good amount. Let's see. So I know that's a popular card. People definitely like that card. Oh wait, here we go. Got it. Really neat stuff. Ooh, and we got Vivian's Talent. I'm pretty sure there's only 5 of them, and we've got 3 of them already. I'm liking that. Okay. Vivian's Talent. Enchanted Planeswalker has +1 look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or a land card from among them, put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So allows you to give pretty much any Planeswalker that kind of fetch ability. Garruk had a lot of that. He's a pretty well-known mono-green planeswalker. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a loyalty counter on enchanted planeswalker. Nice. Okay, so you'll get to use the ult abilities of those planeswalkers rather quickly that way. Do I have space? I'll just set this one down. Go ahead and out of this set right here, let me know which ones that you like the most, which ones do you think are the most playable. Tell me why. I think Itali is definitely the best one that you see here. Drew and Hazaret. Sky Nomad, people are probably going to argue is one of the best here, but I hate it so much that I'm not going to say I like it. And Invasion of Tarkir looks like it's pretty good as well. So moving on. Anything else in this stack right here? Cool. Full art lands. Moving on. Right. A lot of great stuff. Been playing Magic for a pretty long time now. Excited how far they've come with their sets and artwork. I love that they're expanding on that, kind of giving alternate artworks to pretty much everything. Pretty neat. Knight Errant of Eos. This is cool, but for a rare, you really want this to have. You really want to have a creature heavy deck. So a white weenie deck like mono white, probably get a lot of value out of it. It's a 5-drop 4/4 Convoke. Let's say I convoke two things, two creatures, right? So then in paying for the cost, I'm gonna tap 3 things and then get my other 3 mana and tap 2 creatures. That gives me my 5. You're gonna look 6 cards deep, and you can pull 2 creatures from them with X CMC, where X is what you convoke. So if I convoke 2 things, I can pull X or less. So I can pull 2 or less from that. So kind of cool. I mean, if you're really convoking though, and you convoke for 4 to pay this, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can pay more mana to cast things. I don't know if there's some weird rule that way that you could probably use to get bigger things. But I mean, those white weenie decks aren't getting high CMCs anyway, so probably get some value there. It's a lot for a card though. In fact, I'll probably pull that up so you can read it. There you go. Knight Errant of Eos. Give that a read. Not much else going on with this pack. This is probably the weakest pack that I pulled. Everything else looked pretty sweet. This is good. Liking this. I'll clear this trash out here in a second. Golden Scale Aeronaut. Backup 1, flying 2/3. Nice little foil there. Invasion of Ikoria. This one's nice. So it's X, Forest. When Invasion of Ikoria enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. It turns into an 8/8 with reach. For each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. That's pretty good. Like that. Not a lot going on with that pack. Full face mountain, right off. I'm gonna throw this out of here. Alright, deckheads, I know it's a long video. Hang in there. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got a foil one of those back up here. That's cool. Sea Double. 2 island, 2 colors. Spell can't be copied. Choose one. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. Copy target spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Creature, create a token that's a copy of target creature. Nice. I can see why they didn't want you to copy this spell. Kind kind of create a loop there. You don't want that. Ray of Mastersmith, we talked about that earlier. Tandem Takedown, Surge of Salvation, a lot of good stuff. All right. Foil Galvan. Oh! We got another Brass. This one's the original artwork. I'll pull that back up just so y'all can see it. Nice. That's cool. Haven't made a standard deck with actual standard cards in a while. Might be doing that soon. Getting a lot of stuff. Let's see. Brass all the way up at the top. Very cool. Oh! Double Praetor pack, baby! What? Alternate art Jin Gitaxis. Let's go ahead and pull that one up. Oh, that's disgusting. Alright, so since we already talked about the Brass, let's just go right into this one. It's a 5/4 flash that costs 10. So you're not playing that in a normal event draft. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7. Oh wait, so this is the old. Whoops, I clicked the wrong one. This is the old Jin Gitaxis. My mistake there. Pretty sure they have that one here in the alternate art. Jin Gitaxis, there it is. When this one came out back in the day, it was very annoying to see. Imagine not being able to have a hand. You got to play everything right away. Makes it really easy for the person who has this on the board state to keep the board state and the flow of the game. So that's a really good card. All right, let's move along. Okay. Nice. Wow. Some really good stuff here. Still have 12 more packs after this one. Igna and Esika. Creatures you control have vigilance and tap 1 mana of any color. Spend it only to cast a creature spell. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if 3 or more mana from creatures was spent to cast it, draw a card. That's kind of cool. All right, and we got Saint Traft and Rem Carolus. That's a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. All right, that's gonna be towards alternate arts around the bottom. Okay, Saint Traft. Huh. Let's see. Oh, that's not it. There it is. Whenever Saint Traft and Rem Carlos become tapped, create a 1/1 red human creature token. If this is the first time this ability is resolved this turn, if it's second time, create a 1/1 blue spirit creature token with flying. And if it's the third time, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Whenever you cast a spell that has Convoke, untap this card. for 3/4. Feel like that'll get some commander play. Pretty neat. Very good stuff. Got a lot of Praetors. That's neat. Furtive Analyst. That's a cool foil. 3 for a 1/4 vigilance, 2 tap, draw a card, then discard a card, not very playable. Invasion of Tolvana. Flip, creature tokens get +1/+0 lifelink. Beginning your end step, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. That might be playable. 5-drop. When it enters the battlefield, return target non-battle permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, you're probably gonna see that. Very cool. This is nice. Really liking this. Oh, wow. I think this is the MTG Origins set. When Pia and Kiran Nalar enters the battlefield, put 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. 3 sacrifice an artifact. Pia and Kiran Nalar deal 2 damage to target creature or player. Nice. I like it. Cool little foil here. Ooh, I like this one. The Atraxas Fall. For 2. So think Plummet. 1 colorless, 1 green, destroy target creature with flying. But better. Destroy target artifact, battle, enchantment, or creature with flying. And it's shiny. Oh, it's shiny. I like that. Complete the circuit. Nice. You may cast sorcery spells as turns that they flash. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell twice. You may choose new targets for the copies. It's got Convoke. It's a 6-drop. Kind of hard to play, but normally when you have blue decks, they don't like to keep a lot of a board state. They'll put a few things out and just try to protect them. But this is nice. Oh, we got a foil planes, baby. Hey. This card, 2-drop 2/2. I'm sorry, 2-drop 1/1 creates an incubate 2 that when you flip it over, it gets a +1/+1 counter. I kind of like that. As far as board state, kind of for turn 2 gives you something to work with. Not a lot to choose from in the set when you're doing drafts, so it's not bad. Fall of the Thrawn, destroy all lands for 6. The second phase in the lore counter, second part of the saga, and third. Each player returns 2 land cards from their graveyard to the battlefield. Interesting. Corruption of... Oh, I can already see the next card. Oh, if you saw it, oh, you're probably just as excited as I am. Sword of Once and Future? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. This is such a great card. Oh, man. All right, I'm just going to go right to this. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from blue and black. This, I believe, is the last of the swords to be printed. If you're unfamiliar, get familiar. If you have equipment decks and you like them, maybe one of your favorite planeswalkers is Nahiri. I have a friend that does a lot of equipment decks. I'm sure he's just as excited to see these as I am. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, surveil 2. So I'm going to look at the top 2. And if I don't like them, I'm going to put them in the graveyard. or one in the graveyard and keep one on top. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. That spell would be put into your graveyard, exiled instead, equip 2. It's pretty nice. I like it.
Impressive. Very nice.
That's a good card. Oh! If you saw the card behind that one, you'll see the original Urabrask. Okay. Wow, what a pack there. Lots to unpack, but don't. Okay, alright. Okay, alright. Okay, alright, okay. So let's check it out. Here is the alternate art. Urabrask. Or the original, I guess, that they kind of give an alternate artwork to. Which just looks nasty. And then, sort of, once in future, just look at it.
Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that?
Just look at it. Just look at it. Just look at it.
You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
Alright, let me pull that up for you, too. So I got 3 Urabrass. That's kind of cool. Alright, so that's going to be in Artifacts. There it is. Again, this is why I like Mythic Spoiler. There's so many sites out there that let you look at all the Magic cards that are out there. This one lets you sort by set. And actually, I'll scroll down a little bit. You'll see some of the other sorts that I just talked about. Got Sword of Body and Mind underneath that. Sword of Feast Famine, Fire and Ice, Light and Shadow, Truth and Justice, Sinew and Steel, War and Peace. A lot of great stuff. Take a look at the website. Look at all those other cards, especially if you're building commander decks. That's a very cool feature to it. Here's one of the one-drop equipments that I was talking about. Mirren Bane Splitter. It's a 1 red flash, equip 3. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to a creature you control. +2/+0. So a cool little combat trick here that helps you gain leverage in the board state. Alright, is that foil? I feel like that's a light foil. Yeah, that's a very light. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. That's cool. I like that. Got a lot I'm gonna need to sleeve out of this whole stack. That's nuts. What? Oh! Oh no, it didn't do it. Oh my god. Sort of Feast and Famine, baby. What is that? The luck. Oh my god. That is not. Oh. Oh no. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Alright, so this is +2. When equipped creature gets +2/+2 protection from black and from green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and you untap all lands you control. Pretty neat. Geradu Doom of Depths Companion. Your starting deck contains only cards with even mana values. That's not that hard to do. Enters battlefield. Each player mills 4 cards. Put a creature card, even mana value cost from among the milled cards onto the battlefield under your control. That's kind of neat. I like that. Wow. Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. This is from this set. This is one of the ones that I'm actually going to put in the deck that I play online. So if you're not watching, go check out those videos. If one or more +1/+1 counter would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on it instead. It also has an ability for 1 green, 1 colorless, so 1 forest, 1 colorless. Tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Cycling 2. So if you have multiple in your deck, maybe I'll probably throw it as a 2 of. I don't want to do it as a 4 of, but I could cycle it out and draw, so it doesn't slow up your hand that much. It's a turn 2 play, so not that hard to work around. And then put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control. That's really putting 2 on there because of the ability. So nice. That's what is going on with these packs? That's disgusting. Oh, we got what in the where is this the same pack? You got to be kidding me. Okay, all right, let me just unpack that for you. All right, so Sword of Feast and Famine. This thing looks cool. Ozolith. Aurelia the War Leader. Alternate art. This is just a great card. Flying Vigilance Haste. Whenever Aurelia the War Leader attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. That's nuts. The artwork looks great too. Interdisciplinary Mascot. 8-drop, Convoke, Ward 3, 5/5. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library and anywhere. That's not that great. It's alright. That is an amazing pack. We got 2 mythic rares and 2 rares in the same pack. What is going on?
Nice. 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 Nice.
This box is just... Woo. Alright, let me see if I can squeeze these up here. It's a long video. We're almost done. 2 more packs after this. Let's see if I can squeeze this. Probably fit one more over there. There we go. Cool. All right, so take a look at what I got up here. Let me know which ones you like the most. And what do you think the best one in this set is here? This little group of cards that I got going on. Initially, I'm going to say it's probably one of the swords. Playability in the set, Invasion of Ikoria, Urabrask, those are up there. As far as just overall like artwork, the Urabrask right there, that looks amazing. The alternate art, original one, sort of Once in Future. Man, they're so good. They're so good. Protection from blue and from black is probably better than protection from black and from green. Just given the fact that blue-black is very prominent in removal and controlling the board state. So the best card in this set, in this little group right here, is probably Sword of Once in Future. As far as artwork, yeah, it's really a toss-up between Urabrask and Aurelia the War Leader. And then for me personally, that Ozolith, that's definitely something that I'm going to be able to play in my deck online. So once that set rolls out, be doing that. That's great. I got 2 more packs. All right, so try to speed this up. That's so good. That's amazing. All right, what do we got? We got some 7-drop 5/5 swamp cycling. All right. Okay. Legendary creature Elephant Cleric. It's a 5-drop 3/5 Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, exile target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. For 3, I can tap, sacrifice a spirit. Choose target card with exiled with this card. You may cast that card this turn without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, put it on the bottom of its owner's library instead. So for a 5-drop 3/5, you're not gonna see a lot. That's not a lot of playability. It's likely to get removed. It creates the things it needs to do more stuff, which is cool. But that's probably not going to be playable. Garuda, Doom of the Depths. We just talked about that. Wow. So yeah, that last pack. I don't think there's topping that. That was nuts. All right. Got another companion here. 3-drop. Kahiri, the Orphan Guard. Vigilance. Each other creature control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. It's a 3/2. How does this do? Companion. Each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast. That's what it has to be for you to use that. Oh, we got Helioid. Okay. I like that. Let's go ahead and move that down. Let's probably pull up Helioid so you can talk. This one's pretty neat. It's, if you're familiar with Theros, you kind of already know what kind of deck this is going to be in. Alright, so the Theros one was kind of cool. This one I think is better. This is a 4-drop, 4/4. When Heliod Radiant Dawn enters the battlefield, return enchantment card that isn't a god card from your graveyard to your hand. So you get a little bit of resilience there. 4 transform, activate only as a sorcery. It turns into a 4/6 where your instant spells cost 1 less to cost, and they basically get flash, or they do get flash. So you get to play them like an instant, and they cost 1 less. And that's for each card your opponent has drawn this turn. So you get somebody who's draw happy. You're basically going to play a whole bunch of stuff, instant speed, on their end step, right before they pass the turn back to you, and swing through for a lot of damage. That's a solid card. Sisei's Legacy. This is cool. Can't be the target of abilities your opponents control, so that's not a lot of stuff. But gets +1/+1 for each creature. Ayara, first of Blockthwain. No, I say that. Whenever another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Sacrifice black creature, draw a card. That's cool. Base 3 swamp though. That's gonna be tough to play. I don't think a lot of people are going to play that. There is a lot of mono black, though. It's possible. So, very cool. Stoke the Flames. Wow. Okay. I like this. It's Convoke. So, basically, I could instant speed, end of their turn. I could tap 2 things and play it. Likewise, if I only had 2 open mana, and I had a blocker that could do some damage, but I needed to do more, I could block and then tap after block's declared to get that extra damage. And so that's a kind of a unique thing here. 4 damage to any target. The City on Fire card that triples, that's 12 damage right to the face. So, not a card to sleep on for sure. Astral Wingspan, that's cool artwork. Look at that. Rhino with wings. This is cool. Wow. Not a lot to choose from in these cards here. I'd say Helioid is probably the best out of that. Yep. Aesthetically, functionality, and the set. That's the best one out of that. Alright. That was a long video. Thanks for sticking in to MTG with me. Normally I say watch these games. Get those games and walk those planes. But watch these videos. get those gains, walk those planes, go out and play at your local store if you can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Keep it easy.